Hey friends, this is a question that I recently received. Can somebody my age really start a YouTube channel? And will anybody care what I have to say? And I understand why someone would ask that. Starting a YouTube channel can already feel intimidating. But when you're starting later in life, you may wonder whether you waited too long, or whether you understand enough about technology to get started, or whether there's even an audience that wants to hear from someone your age. I started seriously building my YouTube channel at the age of 60. And today, I want to share 3 things I've learned that may help you stop wondering whether you can do it, right? And finally, give yourself permission to begin. So grab a snack and come on back. Welcome to Questions with Lexi, where we take one real question, talk it through, and find an answer that can help us move forward. So let's get into today's question. Can somebody my age really start a YouTube channel? The short answer is yes. You can start a YouTube channel at 50, 60, 70, or beyond. But I want to be honest with you, starting a channel does not mean that thousands of people will immediately find you. Doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that every video will receive the views that you hoped it would receive, right? And it doesn't mean that you will understand everything about YouTube before you begin, because I definitely didn't. What it means is that you have decided that your age will not disqualify you from trying something new. And that's what it's all about, right? So if you're ready to begin, here are 3 pieces of the puzzle for you. The first one is start with what you already have, okay? One of the first things that stops people, I think, from starting a YouTube channel is believing that they need to buy everything first, right? They think they need an expensive camera. They think, you need professional lighting and a new computer, a studio. You need editing equipment and the perfect background. But you don't need all of that to begin. I had none of those things. Absolutely not. I started with what I already had. I began filming with my iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is what I'm filming on right now. But eventually, I started filming everything with my older iPhone, my iPhone 11. I continued using that phone until it just simply wasn't working for me anymore. And I went back to my iPhone 16 Pro Max. And the important thing is that I didn't wait, right? I didn't wait until I had a professional camera. I wouldn't know how to use it if I did have one. I used the phone that was already in my hand. That's what I used, That was the thing. Just to use that and get started. My daughter gave me a tripod, which I'm filming with right now and I use every day. And she gave it to me in Christmas of 2024. And I started using it when I made my first video on January 5th, 2025. But when I first got that tripod, I had no clue how to use it. I didn't even know what it was called. A tripod? I had no clue, no idea. I started using it and I learned as I went, right? And here's a fun fact. This tripod that I'm using right now, is 7 feet tall, right? Do you know when I discovered that fact, that this tripod was 7 feet tall? Take a wild guess. I discovered that in August of 2026, this month, last week to be exact. It's so funny. A whole year and a half after I started using it. Had no clue. I was filming one of my videos adjusting the tripod and suddenly realized that it could extend all the way up to 7 feet. Pitiful. I had no clue. No clue. Clueless, that was me. And I mean, I had been using that tripod for a year and a half without knowing everything it could do. But that's the point, right? Not knowing everything about the tripod didn't stop me from using it to create. Over 1,000 video conversations didn't stop me. I knew enough to get started, and I continued learning as I went, as I'm still doing to this day. I'm literally flying by the seat of my pants, and I love it because I learn something new every single day here. And that's what creating can look like, right? You don't have to know everything before you begin. Sometimes you begin with what you have, use what you understand, and discover the rest along the way. And to this day, I still edit everything on my phone. I use the Villo app, the VLLO app. That's the app that I use. And that app is amazing, right? I didn't edit them on a computer because at the time when I started YouTube, I didn't have a computer. I didn't have one at all. My old dinosaur computer had died, right? I never learned how to use it. I never learned how to do anything on a computer. I know most people, they do nothing without their computers. I couldn't even go into the YouTube studio on the computer because I didn't have one. When I first started, I didn't get a computer until this Christmas. So I went a whole 12 months before I even had a computer, right? To this past Christmas. So, people are sometimes surprised when I tell them, right, that my videos are filmed and edited on my iPhone. But that's the system that works for me. And you have to find definitely what works for you once you get started. I could learn, something different in the future. Of course I can. But, I didn't allow what I didn't know, right, to stop me from using what I did know, if that makes sense to you, right? So before you convince yourself that you need to purchase more equipment, take a look at what you already have. If you have a phone that records video, enough light, right, for people to see you. I do most of my videos here in my little studio in the corner of my room next to a window. Right now we're having a rainstorm. It's thundering and lightning, and I think it was hailing. And so it's dark out. So I have a little light box next to me here, and I have a lamp right next to me. So you use what you have. We use what we have. And, your first setup does not have to be your permanent setup. Not at all. Just get started. Just get started. Our next pointer is talk about something you have actually experienced, right? This second piece is choosing something you can talk about from your own experience. You don't have to pretend to be an expert on everything. You don't. You don't have to chase every popular subject. You don't have to build your channel around something simply because another creator received a lot of views talking about it. Start with your own life. What have you experienced? What have you learned? What could help someone else? What could you help someone else understand? I went back to school at the age of 45. That is something I can speak about because I lived it. I raised a daughter. I've experienced loss. I've navigated friendships that changed or ended. I've dealt with health challenges. And currently I'm on a weight loss journey. And now I'm learning what it means to build a life and create content in my 60s. Those are my experiences. Your experiences may be completely different. Maybe you know how to cook. Maybe you love books and can talk about what you're reading. Maybe you write or you sew, you decorate, you travel. Those are amazing, amazing videos when you travel. Maybe you garden or you organize or you take care of animals. Those videos are so popular here and people love to see that kind of thing. Maybe you're on a health or a weight loss journey. Those are very popular too. Maybe you're rebuilding your life after retirement. Those videos I love to watch. Maybe you have learned something about grief. I definitely have, and about caregiving, marriage, divorce, faith, finances, or beginning again. You may think that your everyday knowledge is ordinary, right? Because it comes naturally to you. But what feels ordinary to you may be exactly what someone else is trying to learn. People aren't only searching YouTube, right, for polished experts. Sometimes they're searching for someone who can honestly say, I've been through this too. Here's what I learned. They're searching for someone that they can relate to. You already have something to talk about because you have lived a life. And our third thing is give yourself time to become the creator that you're trying to be, right? Your first video is not supposed to look like your 100th video. Not at all, right? It just isn't. Most of us have those early videos where lighting wasn't quite right? The sound could have been better. The editing was awkward, or we didn't know where to look. And that's all a part of learning. We've all been there. Everybody who has made a video for the first time has been there. Every single one. Unless you begin, with professional training, an entire production team, and money to purchase everything you need, you will probably have to figure some things out as you go, right? Like most of us. I've learned how to film. I've learned how to edit on my phone. I've learned how to create thumbnails, which I love to do, by the way. I've learned more about YouTube Studio now, and I now know how to add end screens and make certain changes to a video. Not long ago, I uploaded a short that included a song, right, that YouTube would not allow me to monetize. So it wasn't a strike against me, and the video could remain online. It just couldn't get monetized. But there were restrictions because of the copyrighted music, which I had no idea. So I could have decided that it was too complicated, right, and given up on the video, but I wasn't going to delete my video. It was a beautiful video about my mother. So instead, I went into YouTube Studio. I figured out how to replace that song with an instrumental track that YouTube allowed me to use, and I kept it moving. Simple. And you will learn those things too, right? I didn't already know how to do that, but I learned because I needed to know. And that learning never really stops. It never stops. YouTube changes constantly. The internet changes constantly. Technology changes constantly. And we are changing constantly too, right? Creating on YouTube is a lifelong learning process. And there will always be another feature to discover, another skill to develop, or another change to understand. That doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're still learning. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. I used my tripod for a year and a half before discovering that it was 7 feet tall. But during that year and a half, I was still creating every single day, over 1,000 videos, and I'm proud of that. Right? You don't have to understand every part of YouTube to upload a video. You just don't. And you don't have to master the entire journey before taking that first step. Not at all. That's how you become a creator. You enter a problem, right? You encounter a problem, and you find out what you need to do. You fix what you can and take the knowledge with you into the next video, right? You fix what you can, then you know going forward what you have to do from then on out. YouTube gives you the opportunity to learn. It does. It gives you the opportunity to learn so much. So much. So now, will anybody care what you have to say? Yes, somebody will definitely care. Somebody will definitely care. But you can't, make the number of people who respond immediately the only measurement of whether your voice matters. Don't do that, right? It can be very frustrating when you're not receiving that many views, right? And I know because I experienced it too, and I still am to some degree. But the number underneath one video, it doesn't determine the value of everything you have to say. It doesn't. So don't let that discourage you. Don't let that discourage you at all. So my takeaway is, can somebody your age really start a YouTube channel? The answer is yes. Right? Start with what you already have. Talk about something you have actually experienced, and give yourself time to become the creator that you are trying to be. So my question to you is, if you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, what is the one thing that has been stopping you? And if you already have a channel, what is one thing you wish you had known before you got started? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me for another Question with Lexi. And I'll see you on the next one. Love you plenty.